Hi, everybody. It's Carrie Manzer. If you're not here, you're missing out. We're going to learn how to read our paycheck today. And I want you to know how to read your paycheck even though you're not here. So, what I'm going to do is Facebook Live this. So, yay. Thank you for Whittier. Oh, we're in the choir room at Whittier in case you decide you want to come. You should. It's going to be awesome. Okay. So, there's Carney Cullen from the OEA. She's an advocacy specialist. Cal Ware. Oh, this is like Inception. This is creepy. I don't know that I like this. And David Williams from the OEA. And I am going to, as they present, I'm going to show you their PowerPoint. And then also, this will be here live while we're live. And then it will stay in the group forevermore because that's fun. So, without further ado, David.
All right. I am David Williams. I'm the Associate Executive Director of the Oklahoma Education Association and soon to be retired at the end of next month. So looking forward to that. And you get a paycheck. I think it goes on a portal you get. You open it up and then you read it and then the money goes to your bank and you take the money out of the bank. Thanks for being with me today. That ends our presentation for today. So we can do a little bit more than that. So let's figure out, when you're looking at a paycheck, one of the things most people want is just show me some numbers. I go a little too much detail sometimes, but show me numbers that are on my paycheck that are also on my salary schedule. That's what you want to see, because really, the salary schedule you guys use, we kind of, they look the same as in a lot of the metro areas. That's because they all originated from us at OEA as we bargain with different locals. Because the salary schedule is really nothing more, should be nothing more than a picture of how you're paid. And so it should be easy to find numbers on the salary schedule. They're also on your paycheck. So who's running through? Carney?
Carney's pushing the buttons.
There we go. So here is a state minimum salary schedule. And you guys are not paid on the state minimum salary schedule. You are paid above the state minimum salary schedule. But I will show you one item that's on this schedule. Notice it says state paid retirement. We'll get back to your paycheck also that I've given you. So each of you have a paycheck. At the top, it'll either say if you take insurance or you don't take insurance, because they differ just a little bit. Okay? But all of you get this, what's called state paid retirement, also called the teacher retirement credit or offset. Now, what this is, again, it is state paid retirement. So if you are a teacher, and it doesn't matter which salary schedule you have, doesn't matter what district you're in, so you can be on a bachelor's, master's, doctorate, master's plus, whatever, that column stays the same. It's the same. So if you are, now the schedule or the checks we're going to show you today, since I didn't want to use a person's actual paycheck, is one we manufactured. It looks just like, should look pretty closely to the one you received, like the one you received here in Norman. Okay, and our person is going to be on a bachelor's, step 0. So you notice the state pays $60.15 a year toward their retirement. That's a whopping, you'll see this number in a second, $5.01 a month. Okay, now as you go on down, okay, someone with 25 years of experience, and if you have more years of experience than that, it doesn't get bigger than that number. The number is $14,1053. Well, that comes to $117.54 a month that the state pays toward your retirement. And I'll show you on your check where you get that as cash. Since the state is paying that amount of your retirement for you, so Norman won't send that in, okay, to teacher retirement. All right? You keep that amount, that monthly amount, in your paycheck each month. I'll show you where that is. So let's go to the next one. All right. We'll also talk about the flexible benefit allowance, okay, which is state paid health insurance. All right? And these are the different plans you have to choose from. We're getting ready to start a new year coming up here. January. Insurance runs from January to December, calendar year. Most people are on the Health Choice High. Most, okay? And one thing I hope you notice about this is these are rates for next year. And these rates for the Health Choice High plan stayed exactly the same. That's rare, but they don't go up in cost. But this next year, they stay exactly the same. Now, the flexible benefit, that's why I brought this up, the state paid health insurance. By the way, I mentioned the teacher retirement credit, state paid retirement for you, state paid health insurance. Both of those are things that came, really those started back in the late 1990s, okay? They both came from OEA, actually working on your behalf over at the state capitol, all right? So on the health insurance, the flexible benefit allowance is equal to Health Choice High individual insurance. So currently it is $594.90 a month of health insurance, if you're on that plan, is paid for you. Now, something a lot of people don't realize, maybe you do realize, okay, but something I've noticed, if you don't take health insurance through the district, you get what's called also the flexible benefit allowance, just like this, but they also refer to it as the in lieu of payment. In lieu of you taking health insurance, we're going to give you cash. That cash amount is not on here, but it's $69.71 per month. $69.71. All right? So, you take health insurance, that's what the state is paying monthly toward your health insurance. You take, I'm fortunate enough that maybe I get my health insurance through my spouse. Well, you get $69.71 instead of this. If you go back to when the health insurance started, when the state first started toward paying for this, okay, whether you were getting health insurance or getting the cash in lieu of payment, it used to be the same number. Because when the state made the decision they were going to pay the health insurance for teachers, it didn't start the first year. When it all started out, they were going to get to the fully paid, but they couldn't afford it when they first started. And the state was only paying the first year with the FBA a third of your health insurance. And if you took cash, you got a third in cash instead of going toward your health insurance. And for a couple of years as it went up, okay, your third went up, but your cash went up with it. They stayed the same. And then we got to a point in time where the health insurance kept going up in cost, and they froze the in lieu of payment, the cash payment. And that in lieu of payment has been $69.71 for 20 plus years. It's been there for a long time. So one thing I will tell you is, like my wife would get the in lieu of payment. She's a teacher in Edmond. She gets her health insurance through me. Okay? One of the things, I don't hear this anymore, but what I used to hear her say is, that's not fair. I don't take health insurance. The state is paying $69.71. You take health insurance, teacher over here, you get, that's going up from the 200s and 300s. Now it's up to $594.90 a month. And I certainly understand that, but I would tell you legislators who bargain this, okay, would tell you they would not agree with you. They would say we're treating every teacher in the state exactly the same. We're willing to pay for your individual health insurance if you would like individual health insurance. If you're fortunate enough to get it through a spouse, okay, all right, you can choose to take the $69.71. That's your choice. But we're willing to pay the full individual health insurance for every employee. That's just how they would look at it. They would see they're treating everyone the same. You've made the choice, okay, to take the lesser amount. Now, the other thing I would point out here, people have forgotten this. Only old people like me would remember this when this first started. Originally, when the health insurance bill was written, it said, it started, like I said, in the late 1990s. Once the insurance rate for teachers, first group of educators to get fully paid individual health insurance in the state of Oklahoma were support employees. Okay? But when the teachers finally got there, don't hold me to this, I want to say 2000, either 3, 4, or 4, 5. When they finally got to fully paid health insurance, the law originally written said, whenever we get to fully paid individual health insurance for teachers, you have to take the insurance. There will be no longer can you get the in lieu of payment. It'll be gone. Now, once they got to that point in history, they changed the law. Because what they looked at is, now back then, this individual rate was a lot cheaper, but what they looked at, and they said, now hold it, let's think about this for a second. If we follow the law as originally written, all teachers now will have either take the insurance, because there is no in lieu of payment anymore. Well, for those teachers that, let's say 30, 40% that aren't taking health insurance because they get their insurance to their spouse, we're paying for each one of them as a state $69.71. For health insurance, it's paying, I think back then it was high 200s or low 300s a month per individual. Well, people aren't just going to say, darn, I lost my $69.71, shoot, and leave it at that. They're going to take the health insurance. Well, hold it, they get it through their spouse. I know, but now they're going to take that, and their spouses will just become secondary insurance for them. And it's going to cost the state a lot more money. And so, even though originally it started that way, once they got to that point, they said, all right, we're going to leave the in lieu of payment there for you. You can still get cash if you like. It just hasn't changed in a long time. It remains at $69.71. One other point on this. I wouldn't do this right now. I just want to share it with you. But if I were starting teaching and I were young again, I was starting teaching in Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm a 22, 23-year-old. Something I might consider. I want to certainly, make sure I'm comparing apples to apples on what you get in the plan. But I might look at one of these other health choice plans. Now, obviously, some of these HMOs are very expensive. Your out-of-pocket expense isn't as much under them, but you're paying for it up front. So if you were to take an Aetna, $594.90 would be paid for per month. The rest of that would come out of your pocket. Okay? All right, so here's my point. I might look at Health Choice Basic or Health Choice High Deductible. Why? Because I get the cash. I get the cash difference. So I'm taking a major medical, which both of these are. Let's take this one, Health Choice Basic, $466.62. Now I'm covered by major medical. It's not as good a coverage as this. I'll just tell you right up front. Okay? But I do have major medical. All right, and the difference in that was $130. Now I'm getting $130 in cash as opposed to the $69.71. So that's something you might share with, especially, I say younger ones usually. The older I get, I may not want to do one of these plans. Okay, I just want, again, you would want to go to the Health Choice website and look and see exactly what these cover. All right, and I can tell you, because I'm getting ready to retire, like I said, and now I'll be paying for my own insurance for a while. I've looked at all of these plans. I've toyed with the idea, but the key is staying healthy. Because when you go to a doctor, okay, or if something, you're going to pay a little bit more under these two plans, okay, your copay's higher, all right, and or if something happened to you, your out-of-pocket maximum amount that you can be held responsible for is a lot more under these two plans. Okay, so like I said, in the end, I've already made that decision. I've stayed with Health Choice High. Okay, but again, if I were a young guy, just starting out, healthy, okay, I would certainly look at these two because I could have major medical and bring home more money, cash in my check, than the flexible benefit allowance of $69.71. So that's something you might look at. All right. Here's a picture of your current salary schedule. Okay, and so base salary, remember what we started with, the TRS credit, that state paid retirement, that column is right here. Okay, that's on your schedule. I just don't take it down all the way. Remember, we're dealing with a teacher who's on step 0, that's in the red here. That flexible benefit allowance, my state paid health insurance, that's over here. Here's for my major medical coverage, $594.90, and you'll notice the next year it doesn't go up any. It's going to remain $594.90 starting in January 1. And if you don't take health insurance to the school district, there's the $69.71. Okay, $69.71. All right, so on your check, as we look at this, you should be able to see your base salary, where it's at. We'll look at that in just a second. You should see your additional salary credit. Okay, your state paid retirement, and you should also be able to see your health insurance, or you in lieu of payment. All right, next. Let's go to one, but try that next one. We might be able to read it more easier. I think it's bigger. Let's see. A little bit, not much. Okay, so what I've given you, not to keep you here a long time, is I've given you a check that looks just like, I think, Norman Public Schools checks that they issue. And they'll either say with health insurance or without health insurance. And did you get one of these, ma'am? With health insurance or without? No. Do you take health insurance to the school?
No.
Okay, so you'd be without health insurance. There you go. All right, you bet. Okay, so here's the difference in them. If I'm taking health insurance, all right, if I'm taking health insurance, over here it says something a little bit different on my salary side, on my money side. But you can see, since this person doesn't take health insurance, there's that $69.71. If we were looking at a check of one of you that take health insurance, what are you going to see? It's called something different. I don't remember what it's called. You can tell me. But FBA, it's called FBA, and you can see the $594.90 right there. Okay? So, on this side, you have what you're making, what you're earning on your side. Now, before I get into this. So what I've given you is a picture of a salary of a check from a bachelor's and zero. If you look on the flip side of it, the back side of it, is an explanation of different things, of different columns, okay, on your check. And that's put together so you should be able to take your paycheck, set it next to it, okay, and say, hey, I want to make sure my salary's right. I want to see the FBA. I want to see the teacher retirement credit. If you're interested, I won't go into this in a lot of detail unless you want to. If you're interested, I wonder if they figured my FICA and Medicare right. It explains on how, on the back of that, how you calculate your FICA and Medicare. I like to see if my retirement is done correctly. If you want to see that, it'll show you how to calculate your retirement on the back of that. So again, that is for you to set aside right next to your paycheck, and hopefully you'll have to have a salary schedule where you are. And then you can figure out those things and see how you're paid and make sure you're paid correctly. I will tell you, can you go back to the salary schedule real quickly? You know, over the 20-something years I've been doing this, okay, if you a common error, you don't find many errors on Norman paychecks. I'm just going to be telling you that. I mean, you have a chief financial officer here. I think she's still here. She's been here almost as long as I've been doing this stuff, named Brenda Burkett, who is outstanding at what she does. So you don't see, I know she's got a whole staff down there helping her, but you don't see many errors. That doesn't mean everybody makes mistakes, but you don't see many errors. Over the years, we've caught many errors on checks across the state and looking at different districts. Here's the number one thing, like when I'm looking at a check, sometimes real quickly and say, well, this is not right. We got an issue here. Wow, how can you do that so fast? One of the first things I look for is, let's say where are you paid on this schedule, whatever district we're in, okay? I'm on a bachelor's, step 15, or we'll make it one that's up here. I'm on a bachelor's, step 5, okay? I look at this 5, I'm looking for this base salary on your check. The other thing I'm looking at is that TRS credit on your check, okay? If those two are not on the same line, there's an issue. Okay, they should always be on the same line. So let's go back to the paycheck. That teacher retirement credit or the state paid insurance, you'd see it right here, TRS credit. And on our checks that we're looking at in your hands, it's $5.01. Again, that's $60.15 divided by 12. 501. That's where you're getting that as cash. It's coming to you as additional cash. Okay? Now, notice the insurance. It's over here on the cash side too, the health insurance. But they're going to take it away when they get to the deductions over here. And so under the deductions, you would see for your health insurance, the $594.90 over here. So now, if you were taking full family, this number over here for health insurance might read $1,200 and something. Okay? You get to shelter, you're not paying taxes on the difference between what you're paying and the actual flexible benefit allowance. That's not taxable. All right, so we'll talk about that more in just a second. Our person on our example here, here's their salary for bachelor's, step 0. Again, this is a person now with health insurance. There's the $594.90 for the FBA, flexible benefit allowance. here's their teacher retirement, state paid retirement, the credit, and we've given them an extra duty. I just found one in your negotiated agreement. I don't remember which one it was. It explains it on the check, but that's that, and that's 41 something a month. Now, Norman's check, Norman uses the same schedule as a couple other places, but not many in the state. Okay, I like what they do here because you can come down in the right-hand corner and you can find your pay and your taxable pay, okay, and your deductions, okay, and all of that. So it's just down there. It's easy to read. All right, it's very easy to read. Okay, so can you go to the next one, which is a little bit bigger? Okay. Question? Got a question?
I was wondering if I could make it bigger.
Okay, so in that bottom right-hand corner, where it says gross pay, down here, gross pay, all these added up together, right there, gross pay. Okay? All right. Your taxable pay, which is on top, it would be your gross pay minus whatever deductions you have that are tax sheltered. Okay? So that's your taxable pay. All right? And then it adds up all of your deductions for you. Okay? And it shows you over here what your district is paying as fringe benefits on your behalf. So what you're getting as fringe benefits, you have your retirement, which is called TRS, teacher retirement, up here at the top. And on your check, it explains to you exactly how you get to the number that they're getting on your paycheck. And then you have district retirement, okay, that they pay, teacher retirement that the district pays on your behalf. Didn't come here today to do a retirement program? Could. You have time, but not here to do that, okay? When you look at money that goes into teacher retirement, your portion, and by law it is your portion, okay, is 7% of your compensation. 7%. You just happen to work in a district. You've worked in the third one now that does this here in the metro area. That you have a you have a bargained agreement, negotiated agreement. Your local here bargains on your behalf, and they bargain language in your contract that says, okay, your 7% retirement amount, okay, your 7% is paid for by the school district as part of your compensation. Okay, they pay that on your behalf. If I were doing this presentation right now in the state's largest school district, Tulsa Public Schools, I couldn't say that because the employees pay their own retirement. Now you get tax benefits off that also. You're not paying state, you're not paying federal, and you're not paying FICA. Okay, by the way, the district has to match whatever you're paying in FICA. Your portion of retirement is 7%. That's this number right here, is 7% of your total compensation.
Okay. Are you on the TRS? And then what's the TRR?
Get right to that, okay? So remember I said, as you look at the retirement, you have an obligation under law that says the employee's obligation is 7% of your compensation, okay? And that's paid for by the school district. And let me give you an example for that, and I'll move on to that. Go back to the salary schedule just a second. Let me tell you something you saw on schedules this year. There was state-mandated raises that had to be given. A lot of times I'll have people say this to me. Okay, so the district pays my retirement as part of my compensation. Yes. Oh, so they're just backing, I mean, come on, be real. I get some tax implications. I get that. But really, all they're doing is backing the retirement out of my compensation. They're backing it out of my money I'm paying for myself. Not really. Okay, I'll show you an example. This year, when House Bill 1023XX passed, changed the state minimum salary schedule, okay, by exactly $5,001 at step 0 on the bachelor's, down to almost $8,000 at the bottom of the schedule for someone going from 24, 25. Okay? Anyway, so that's a lot of money. All right? Where do I put the money? when Carrie's in here bargaining on your behalf in the bargaining team, if they raise all of your schedules and put the money over here, everybody gets a step. We're going to change these numbers by $100. Everybody gets a step, change the number. Well, when I put $100 here, that becomes $93 over here in your salary. But if they bargain $100 on every step here and put it on the salary side, it's $100. And the district, because you have that language in your contract, pays the retirement, the 7%. And since you can forget I said this in a second, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, because you actually pay retirement on retirement, they pay almost 7.5% when you're putting it from this side of your retirement. Now, that made a big difference this year because, like, let's take here in Norman, they bargained those mandated raises right here on the base salary. I can name for you numerous districts, okay, that put those mandated increases right over here, which is legal, what they did. Nothing wrong with that. The state minimum salary schedule is a compensation schedule. The law says for a district to get to the state minimum, you can use a teacher's salary and their retirement, their 7%. It is a compensation number when you look at the state minimum salary schedule. So let's take that step 0 for a second. All right? That salary on the state minimum, and the law said if you pay above the minimum, like Norman, your teachers here have to get the same raises as a teacher on the state minimum will receive, at least a minimum of that. And that's with their step. Okay? When their bargaining team in Norman put this money over here, well, for every $1,000 you raise the salary schedule, that's $70 in retirement of your 7%. Okay? So that's $350 basically in retirement costs. In Norman, the teacher got a $5,000, that went up $5,000, that's 0 step went up $5,001, and the district's picking up the $350. In other districts, the teacher didn't get $5,000, their comp went up by $5,001, now subtract off $350, okay, and that's their salary. So that's a big deal on what they bargained by putting the raises right there. Okay, let's go back to so I can get to the TRR. So you asked about the TRR. That is money that's also going into the retirement system. Each of you in the retirement system have your own account, okay? And that 7% goes into your account in the system. And it draws interest, okay? And so that's your money. That's your money. If you ever wanted to pull it out and take it out, you could. But that's your money. What happens when you retire after 25, 30 years or whatever, okay? When you retire, then they're going to do I can come and talk to you about retirement. There's a formula, calculation they do, and you get so much a month for the rest of your life. It's a defined benefit. I will tell you this much, though, because I've done retirement for a long time. Those of you retired here, you will go through the money in your little individual account. Every time you get that check from future retirement, it goes down, that amount goes down by your monthly amount. Now remember, I told you, your benefit is a lifetime benefit. Your little account where your 7% has been going and sitting over here, gaining interest, okay? In 2.5 years of retirement, will be gone. But you continue to receive your monthly benefit, and hopefully down the road, COLA increases, cost of living increases from the state for the rest of your life. We were joking a while ago, living is the key to the retirement program, okay? That the defined benefit you have, you get a lot more money that's pulled out for you on your retirement. Now that's one, as we look at the teacher retirement, that's your money that goes into the system, but it literally, they kind of track it in your own little account, okay? This amount, this TRR, this is the amount the district sends in on each and every one of you. That just goes into the system to shore up the system. That's 9.5%. So on every one of you, okay, if I'm calculating what I'm going to pay on you as a school district per month, I'm going to take your compensation, whatever that number is on the total compensation in, I'm going to add to it your retirement, And I'm gonna multiply that number times 9.5%, and on the explanation on the back, it'll show you that. And that's where you get the amount that the district is paying in on each of you. You don't get that money. That goes in, doesn't go into your account. That goes in to the teacher retirement system. And then there are taxes, okay, that are also money comes from that are dedicated into the teacher retirement system. And of course, one of the biggest incomes they have is they take all of that money that goes in the system and they invest it, okay, and they pull in the interest and what that brings back in the investments off the system. They had a good year this past year. It was almost 9% interest that they brought in. 2 years ago, it actually lost money.
TRR.
TRR. I don't know why your district codes it that way. It's teacher retirement something. Okay, but again, that's the 9.5% the district pays into the system.
But that's not the individual.
That is not.
That's
Yours is the TRS.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll tell you one other thing on your check. No, it's right. It's right. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. FICA and Medicare, again, Social Security. Okay, and I show you on the back of your check if you want to see how you calculate those and see how they're done, that's fine. Normally these are, on most checks, are calculated as 7.65%. Your district breaks it out into Social Security and Medicare. FICA is 6.2% off your taxable. You would take your taxable pay times 6.2 for the most part and get this FICA number. Or you could take that taxable number times your Medicare, which is 1.45%. And again, that's on the back of your check, explaining that to you to get to that number. Okay? One other thing, and I believe I put this on the check at those for you guys, and that is we have this person that's getting American Fidelity, $100. That's an annuity. And I put that on there for purpose. Remember, this is a make-believe check. Because you have to pay FICA, even though in my taxable pay, that 100's not in there because I'm sheltering it. I don't pay state and I don't pay federal taxes on an annuity, but I do have to pay FICA on my annuity. Okay, and you'll see that on the back of the paycheck. It's for an explanation. Yeah, I probably just gave you way too much more than others. That's kind of how your paycheck works. And again, you should be able to set that next to your paycheck to figure out if it's how we get to the numbers. Again, we don't find a lot of errors on a Norman paycheck. Just don't. Unless maybe they've got you at the wrong step or something like that, which I don't see many of those. I haven't seen any of those. You might. Carrie might have seen some over the years. Okay. Any specific questions on salary schedules or how to read a paycheck?
What are the steps?
Your step? You should have. Carrie, did we get a wage verification sheet here at the first school year in the district?
We get it in like February.
Okay. You can call one of the, I guess the quickest way, a lot of places, here's a law in the state. The law in the state says, let's go back to the salary schedule. Can you real quick, Barney? There's a law in the state that says, Norman schedule, one down. That if your base salary, okay, is less than the state minimum, all right, then I have to notify you of that in law at the first part of the school year. And on a lot of those, they'll put the teacher's step that they're on, okay? So Carrie says you get something later in the year that'll show what step they're paying you off of. An easy way is to check with the school district and just ask them what step you're being paid on. But you can take your paycheck too, and you should see on that gross line, you should take that salary that's on there, and first salary, the top one, and multiply it off of your check, multiply it times 12, and you're going to get to a number that's either on the bachelor's, the master's, or the doctorate, and it'll show you what step you're on, what they're paying you on.
So which one? The first, the 101.
Right here. That 101.2D, whatever it is, right here. That's your base salary. Now the ones I've looked at, this is how they appear. Occasionally, don't know Norman because I haven't seen one of these yet, but occasionally you might see two categories that this is divided into. Why? Okay, they add up together to be your base salary, because they may be paying you out of two different accounts. Okay, maybe some is federal. Okay, they're paying you out of that. I don't know, it's
Or
occasional.
you do that for sped.
Yeah. I didn't see any of the, I didn't see those with the checks I looked at. But again, you multiply that times 12 and you're gonna get right on the bachelor's step 0. You're gonna be just a couple of cents off. Okay? Any other questions?
You don't know what 1112B is, do you?
Where's that at?
It's right underneath 1012B.
Oh, it's on your paycheck?
Yeah,
I can look at it with you in just a second.
okay,
We can go through it.
I think it's a code for your job title,
okay.
for the type of position you have, because you're not a classroom teacher. So I think that it's the code for your job title. And I asked the district not too long ago for the codes that they use. And I can, after I post this live video, I can go post the codes and what they mean right underneath the video, so you can have it.
In your step, isn't your step how many years you've been taught? So like, if this is my 8th year teaching, I'm on step 7.
Yes,
Okay.
you know why? Because remember, you start with the 0
Yeah,
step.
because you start with 0.
We start with the 0 step.
Okay.
Okay?
Making sure I was right.
Yeah, I'll give you, hey, go back to the Norman schedule. Here's what I mean about when you find mistakes. I won't say the district, it rhymes with Bethany. That was it, Bethany. Okay, one of the things, I mean, she was a nice lady, the payroll clerk, but one of the things she did, I did these years ago, and I mean, there were a lot of teachers that had their base salary somewhere and their credits were all wrong. I mean, it was on different steps. This line, they were not on the same step. And in talking to the payroll clerk, what she said was, well, David, that I can't put them on the same because this teacher came out of Texas. They taught in Texas for 15 years. Okay, now back then, and still true in Bethany, I don't think this is true in Norman though,
It's not.
but in Bethany, the most I'm gonna give you for your out of years experience is 5. Thank you, Norman bargaining team, Penn bargaining team again, that you actually get your out of state experience. Not many districts do that. It's a handful. Okay? But in what was happening in Bethany, let's say again, I have 15 years in Texas, here I come to Bethany. Okay, the max they can give me is 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will be, if I have 5 years of experience, I'll be starting step 5 with 5 years experience. Okay? But my retirement credit was up here on 0. And the reason was, well, David, that person hasn't paid into the retirement system. So I can't put them on down. Well, that has nothing to do with what you paid into the retirement system. This just says, hey, school, if you put the person on this step, this is how much, based on the fact that they're on this step, that's how much of their retirement you're paying for this year. So those always coincide, go side by side. Any questions? Okay, I'll tell you what, I will stick around if you brought checks and you want me to look at them, I'd be happy to do that with you on any of them and look through those. Otherwise, thank you guys, and I hope it makes some sense to you what we did. You have a little better understanding of it. And again, hopefully those sheets, the examples that we've given you will help you read your paycheck. Okay?
Hey everybody, so he just wrapped up his presentation. Thank you for watching. If you watch it later, I know you'll enjoy it because it's riveting. We have some handouts for you that I will also post in this group. So if you have questions, know that OEA is always here to help you understand how to read your paycheck. They also have assistance in retirement as well. Have a good one.